If you have mild to severe OCD symmetry disorder, this may not be right for you. Symptoms may include not using your axe, head alignment anxiety, handle grain dysphoria. Hey, Ben from Ben's Backwoods here, and today we're going to have a talk about hand-forged axes, about fit and finish expectations, head alignment, handle grain, and why a hand-forged axe may not be right for you. So stay tuned. So I've been selling hand-forged axes for 15 years. I have been a Wetterlings dealer, a Grants Forest Brooks dealer, and now a Holtz Brooks dealer. I have seen a ton of these axes come through my shop. I've dealt with a ton of customers on these axes. Honestly, hand-forged axes, high-quality axes, are difficult to sell in a way because people's expectations are unrealistic of fit and finish on these axes. And why I'm doing this video is to kind of point out some of the issues people look at, and to give you a realistic idea of expectations on these hand-forged axes and what you should be looking for. The problem is that this is kind of the nature of the beast of hand-forged axes. They are not going to be completely symmetrical heads. You're probably going to have the bevels not line up exactly. You very well may have little gaps in where the handle mounts on the axe head there in the eye. You might have a little gap down here where the handle slides in. You're going to get some hammer marks, some uneven marks on the sides of these axes. Poles may not be finished all symmetrical. Just a multitude of little things that if you are spending $100+ on a hand-forged axe and you are expecting to get custom knife or knife production quality that is the fit and finish is perfect on them, that's not going to happen with hand-forged axes. This is just the nature of the beast. So first off, you're going to need to accept that these axes are not going to be perfect. If I want to take a look at any of these axes that I sell, have sold, or kept and used over the years, I could pick every single one of them apart on little odds and ends that are not perfect. So here we have two axes that are very similar to each other. This is a Council Tool Sport Utility Boys Axe. This is the Holtz Brooks Calyx axe. Basically, they're both Boys Axe pattern heads. These Council Tool axes are drop forged, so there's basically a mold that they're using. So with what I've seen over the years with the drop forged axes is you get a lot more symmetry, a lot more uniform quality as far as the shape of them, the thickness of the cheeks, the pole shape, just overall the shape of the head is more uniform on these. So that's just kind of the nature of the beast on that type of head. So these are fantastic, and like even on this one, I'd say the bevels on it are really nice. I'm not sure what they're using. They're probably using some kind of jig to put the bevels on these heads. But in general, a lot of these drop forged heads, you get a very clean look to them, a very uniform shape. So that's just the way these things are. So these the hand forged axes are going to have little dents and dings in them from being pounded on, and you might not have an exactly uniform bevel on these things. The cheeks, the shape of these cheeks a lot of times is a little uneven, and it's just the nature of the beast, and it's something you need to accept if you want to own one of these axes and use it. What I tell my customers is get out in the woods and use these things, and once you start using a tool, you build up a little bit of confidence in it and use it on some trips. Those little odds and ends that might be worrying you or might bother you are going to disappear. Next big issue, so that's kind of your fit and finish on these axes. Next issue is we're going to talk about head alignment and handle grain. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on these. Everybody read the book that you want to have the head alignment dead center. You look down, I sight down this axe right now, close one eye, and that cutting edge is dead center of this knob right here, looking down this thing. That's perfect, okay? Handle grain. You're looking for completely vertical handle grain. The line's running vertical like this, and that's to give you strength in the handle. Here's the reality though, is that none of these are perfect. Maybe 1 in 10 is 90% close to being perfect. So in general, these are my thoughts. If you're in a shop and you have the ability to sort through a dozen axes and pick out the one that's closest to your liking, sure, do it. If you're rehandling an axe at home, yes, take the time to get that head alignment exactly how you want it. Take the time to pick out that handle with the grain that you want. The reality of it is, though, is that, do I think it matters a whole lot? Not really. And here's why. My personal thinking is that if I sight down this axe cutting edge, and as long as that blade is lined up with part of that knob, it could be off to one side, it could be off to the other side, as long as it's kind of pointing on the knob, still not totally off the knob, I'm happy with it. One of the issues that you can run into if you have a head that's aligned really bad is really the biggest issue, I think, would be the head aligned way off to the side. Basically, when you're splitting firewood, it's going to expose some of the handle on the other side. If this head was lined up over this way, it's going to expose some of this handle right here when you're splitting, and what'll happen is, as you split through stuff, it'll start to chew up the side of the handle here and kind of tear up your handle. Ideally, if the head's aligned up fairly close to center, is that head splits that wood apart and makes room for that handle to slide through that wood without getting all chewed up on the side. So there's one issue. That's a legitimate issue. Honestly, I've only seen it on heads that are really misaligned with really thick handles. So in general, like these Holtzbrook's axes, I haven't seen anything in those that's been an issue. If it's off a little bit on head alignment, are you going to notice it when you're chopping? I don't think so. I've been using an axe for a long time. I've used them a ton. I consider myself to be experienced with an axe. When you go to swing an axe at a log, you're constantly readjusting your swing based on what you're hitting. You're not looking down the head and sighting it. You're swinging and you hit, and you just constantly you just naturally readjust to hit where you're aiming. So does it have anything to do with head alignment? I don't think it does, honestly. Next thing, handle grain. Sure, in a perfect world, let's get all really tight grained, completely vertical. I don't think it makes a huge difference. I think the quality of the wood is going to make the difference. I have seen straight grained, completely vertical grain axe handles blow apart after a minimal amount of use, and it's just was the quality of the wood. And you can't always guarantee the quality of the wood. So you have to get out and use it and build some confidence in your tool, is what I say. If that handle grain is running off on a 45-degree angle, I'm not that concerned about it. I would say, in general, especially these lighter camp axes, even up to this 28-inch boy's axe, I personally don't think you've got enough weight in the head and leverage for what you're doing to crack and break one of these handles. As long as the handle is good quality, the orientation of the grain is not going to make a difference. You just don't have the leverage and the mass. Now when you jump up to a 3.5 pound head and larger, especially when you're splitting firewood, splitting large amounts of firewood, then maybe that comes into play more, and the handle grain is going to mean more. But in general, don't obsess over if the grain is perfect or not. Yes, in an ideal world, let's shoot for complete perfect head alignment and complete perfect grain. But the reality of it is, you're probably not going to find it. No big deal. So my advice to my customers is to get out and use your axe. Using your axe, take it on some trips, some camping trips, build some confidence in it, and all those little imperfections will disappear from your mind, and you won't be stressed out about it. If I sell you an axe and you go out on the first trip, the thing falls apart on you, get a hold of me. I'll take care of it. It's chances of that happening are slim to none, honestly. So hope this helps you guys. Hope this gives you some realistic expectations on these hand forged axes. I love them. Every single one of them is different and unique, and I'm a big fan of them because the quality's there. The steel quality is excellent. So hope this helps you guys in your future axe purchases. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. Your support keeps me from having to get a real job. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, follow, check out, I've got some links down below for my social media, for Instagram, Facebook. Got a link for my website. You can do all the shopping that you want at bensbackwoods.com. Thank you.